This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let's start. Hope it's audible to everyone. Okay, so in modulation techniques, so far we have seen how to work with subroutines and how to work with include programs. Okay, now today we'll start with what function modules. Okay, function models. So function model is also similar to what subroutines. Okay, when do we go for subroutines? If you want to execute some statements repeatedly at multiple places, we'll put that logic inside a subroutine and we can call that subroutine any number of times. Similarly, function module also, okay, it is a block of statements, it is a set of statements which is defined only once and can be called any number of times. I repeat, function module is also one of the modulation technique which has to be defined only once and can be called any number of what times. So the difference between function subroutines and function models is subroutines will create it as part of a particular program, okay, whereas function models are created using a tool called as function builder tool. Okay, so we have a separate tool for developing the function model. What is the tool? Function builder tool. Okay, SC37 is a transaction code for function builder tool. Okay, so as part of SAP, as part of different modules of SAP, there are many function models given by what? SAP itself. Okay, so we have standard function models. Okay, standard function models. So these are provided by what? SAP. Okay, they are provided by what? SAP means they are defined by what? SAP itself. They are defined by SAP itself. So these function models can be called can be called explicitly. Okay, we can call them explicitly. Who is going to call this? By developer. Can be called explicitly by developer. Understood? So the functionality related to that function module is provided by what? SAP itself. Okay, our job is only we need to call it wherever we require. Okay, so the calling has to be taken care by what? Developer itself. Okay, we have the provision to create what? Custom function models. Okay, they are defined and called by what? Developer itself. Okay, so as part of our project, okay, we might be creating what? Some custom function models. Means as part of your project, there would be some business logic which has to be executed, which has to be used in many objects in your project. Okay, so that logic I can embed as part of a function model and I can call it wherever required. Okay, so that is custom function model. So there are thousands of function models given by SAP itself. Okay, so related to ABAP, there are some function models which are frequently used by what? ABAP developers. Okay, so as part of the course we'll be seeing some standard function models which are frequently used by developer. So it doesn't mean that we will use only those function models, but those are the general frequently used function models to cater most of the business requirements. Okay, but as part of our experience, we might be what? uh, we might be coming up with a new function model, so we should know how to use that particular function model. Okay, so we are going to understand how to work with the function model so that whenever we encounter any new function model, we should able to call that particular function model at our convenience. Okay, so now we'll be seeing how to create our own custom function models and how to call them. Okay, then after that, for the rest of the course, we'll be what working with what standard function models given by what SAP. So first, our agenda is to understand this function builder tool. Okay, so function models are created using what function builder tool. The transaction code is what SE37. Okay, all the function models, whether it is standard function model or whether it is custom function model, they are stored in what function group. Okay, function models are stored inside what function group. Just like yesterday we have seen, external subroutines are stored inside what subroutine pool. Okay, so we have seen one special type of object yesterday, subroutine pool. Subroutine pool is a repository object which is a container of what external subroutines. Similarly, I can say a function group is a container of what function modules. Okay, so before we create our own custom function models, okay, first of all we need to create the what function group. So function group creation is only one time job. Once we create a function group, we can store any number of function models inside that particular function group. Okay, and one more point is function modules are stored in a database table. Okay, are stored in the database table TFDAR. So far we have seen some repository objects. What are the repository objects we have seen? We have seen executable programs. Okay, we have seen include programs. Okay, and we have discussed about what subroutine pool, right? So all these repository objects, what are we discussed so far, they are stored in what a database table. So as part of SAP, okay, as part of this SAP software, you'll have what a database also. So in that database, there are some tables provided by SAP itself. So all these repository objects are stored in a table called as TADAR. Function models are stored in the database table TFDAR. So let me just show you that. Suppose yesterday we have created one program like something, yeah, Z645 program 29, Z645 program 29. So this is what type of program? Executable program. Okay, so executable program comes under what repository objects. It is stored in what table? TADR. So we can access all the database tables using the T code called as SC11 ABAP dictionary. Okay, so if I go to SC11, right, so anyhow we'll be seeing this T code going forward. So as of now I'm just giving a glimpse of that. So if you go to SC11, there are different dictionary objects. One of the database dictionary objects is nothing but database object. One of the database object is what? Database table. So what is the table? We have TADR. So you can see this table is not starting with Z or Y. So you have to understand that as what standard table given by SAP. So I can only display this table. I cannot modify the standard table. So this is one of the table. There are thousands and lakhs of tables. This is one of the table. So if I display this table contains, what is this? It's a table which is a directory of what? Repository objects. It is a directory of repository objects. Okay. So object type is there, object name is there, all those things. So let me just go to contents. I want to, what is the database table contents? Records. If I go to this contents, I want to see that records in the sense rows. See how many entries are there in this table. If I click on number of entries, we have around 44 lakhs 78,278 records are there. Okay, so I'm not interested with all these contents. I'm interested to check whether my program is available or not. What is my object name, which we created yesterday? One of the object Z645 program 29. Z645 program 29. So if I click on number of entries, yes, it is showing what? One entry. Let me click on this execute button. It will show the information related to this particular object name. Okay, when I click on execute, yes, so this is a program. What is it? Z645 program 29. This is one of the what? Repository object. Similarly, okay, if I go back to SC38, so in this program, we have included one include program. What is that include program? Z645 INC1. Okay, if I double click on this, this is what type of object? Include program. Include program also comes under what? Repository object. Okay, so let me check whether this entry is there in the database table or not. So I'll just open a new session. So if I go to SC11, same table, what is that? TA, DAR. If I display this, let me go to contents, object name. What is the object name I'm looking for? Z645 ANC1. Okay, number of entries. What is that? One entry. If I click on execute, yes. Okay, so we have this include program. Include program also comes under what? Repository object. Okay, similarly, let me check for the subroutine pool. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I don't know, we have created one subroutine pool also. What is that subroutine pool? Let me open this 28. Yeah, Z645 subroutine pool. Yeah, this is the subroutine pool we have created. Z645 subroutine pool. Let me go to the table and check TADR. I'll go to contents. What is that? Z645 subroutine pool. So if I say number of entries, yes, one entry, it is also available. So what I'm trying to show here is whatever the repository objects we have created so far, executable programs, include programs, subroutine pool, all these repository objects are stored in which table? TADA. So as part of SAP software, you will have one database integrated. Okay. So in that database, there are some tables provided by what? SAP itself. Those tables are what? Standard tables. One of the standard table is what? TADAR, okay, which is responsible for storing the information related to what? Repository objects. Similarly, now we are going to create something called as what? Function models. Function models are also stored in which table? They are stored in a different table called as TFDR. Okay, TADR contains what? Standard repository objects as well as custom repository objects. You will have some standard executable programs, standard include programs, standard subroutine pools. Similarly, we have created our own custom objects, whether standard or custom, they are stored in the table of TADR. Similarly, all the standard function models and custom function models are stored in the table called as what? TFDAR. So in SC11 only, let me go back. Let me give the table name what? TFDAR. So if I display this, yeah, TFDR is a table which contains what? The information related to what? Function model. So if I go to contents, if I see a number of entries, it is showing some 5,20,700. Okay, these are the number of function models. Okay, so when I execute, it will show me the first 200 function modules. Okay, it is showing me that these are all what? Function modules. Okay, so anyhow, don't worry about these things. So when we create our own function model also, that function model will come and sit in which table? TFDR. So as of now, this table contains how many entries? 5,20,700. So let me just document for my purpose. What is this? 5,20,700. Now what is my requirement? I want to create what? Custom function model. So before we create any custom function model, first of all, we require what? Function group. Without function group, we cannot create the custom function model. At the time of creating the function model, it will prompt you for entering the function group. For example, let me directly try to create the function model. So where do we create the function models? in what? A tool called as what? Function builder tool, SC37. So let me try to create one function model, SC37. It will open me a tool called as what? Function builder tool. Okay, it will open me a tool called as function builder tool. Okay, here it is asking me the function model. So how do we differentiate the standard function model and custom function models? Custom function models will start with what? Z or what? Y. So since I want to create my own custom function model, let me give the name as something Z645 FM1. Any name you can use, start with Z. Start with Z. So I'm giving it as Z645 FM1. Okay, so this is the name of the function model I am giving. I don't know whether this is already available or not. Let me try to create. Yeah, it is not available, so it is allowing me to create the function model. You can see here it is asking for what? Function group, which is a tick mark is there, which indicates what? It's a obligatory field, mandatory field. So what is the understanding? Before we create the function model, we must create what? Function group. Okay, so first let us create the function group. Before that, so as I told you, there are many standard function models given by what? SAP itself. So let me open one of the function model, F4 underscore file name. See, you'll have thousands and lakhs of function models. We cannot remember each and every function model, but as an ABAP consultant, there are some what, 70 to 80 function models which we will be using very frequently to meet some common requirements, to meet some most of the business requirements. But apart from that 70 to 80 function models, we should able to work with what? Any of the function models whenever you encounter. Okay, so this is one of the function model given by SAP. That's why it is not starting with Z or Y. So I'll try to display this. Since it is standard, I cannot directly modify. I'll just click on display. Right, this is one of the function model. Okay, this function model also is stored inside what? Function group. So if I go to attributes tab, what is the function group they are giving? IBIP. Okay, so one of the function group which we have is what? IBIP. Okay, in this function group, what is the function model stored? F4 underscore file name. Done. Okay, now let me go back. I'll try to give another function model. F4 if underscore int underscore table underscore value underscore request. Some function model. If I display this, if I go to attributes, yeah, it is available in which function group? SDHI. SDHI is a function group. So in SDHI, there is one what? Function module. Done. Let me open another function model. Let me open GUI underscore upload. If I display this, if you see the attributes, what is the function group? SF? Yes. So in SFES, we have a function model what? GUI underscore what? Upload. Okay, so what I'm trying to show is there are many function models given by SAP, and those function models are also stored in what? Function group. And one function group might contain what? Any number of what? Function modules. So for example, let me open this function group. So where we can access this function group, we have a transaction code called as SC80 object navigator. So far we have not used it. So I'll go to what? SC80 80 object navigator. Okay, so let me go to navigate to that object navigator. Done. So here we have a drop down. Let me choose the drop down. I'll choose function group. Okay, I'll choose function group. Right, then what is the one of the function group which I collected? IBIP. So let me try to provide that IBIP. I'll press enter. Okay, from the drop down you have to choose function group and provide the function group which you want to see. Press enter. Yeah, it is showing me the objects which are there inside that particular function group. Okay, so one of the object is what? Function modules. If I expand this, see there are many function models. Excuse me please. Just hold on, excuse me. Yeah, right. So see here, excuse me. Yeah, where we are. So this function group contains what? Many. It contains many function models. So one of the function model is what? F4 underscore file name. Similarly, let me open another function group, SDHI. Okay, let me check whether we have multiple function models or not. SDHI, I'll press enter. Right? So in this SDHI function group also, if I expand, yes, we have many function models. So what I'm trying to show is one function group might contain any number of what? Function modules. So now what is our agenda? I want to create my own function model. So first of all, we require what? Function group. So in your project also, apart from working with the standard function models, you'll be definitely creating some custom function models which are specific to your project according to our customer business requirements. We might be required to create some custom function model. So before we create the custom function model, what you will do, you will create what? Function group. For every function model, we may not create separate function group. I may create only one function group. In that function group only, I may store some function models. Similarly, later on, uh, I may create another function group. In that function group, again, I can store some more function model. So it's not that for every function model we require separate function group, but each function group can contain any number of function models. So first, let us see how to create the function group. So where do we create the function group? SC80 object navigator. Okay, in this SC80 only, we need to create what function group. Okay, so whenever we create the function group, what SAP will do is SAP will create, okay, whenever we create the function group, SAP creates what? To include programs. Already we know the purpose of what? Include programs. An include program can contain global variable declarations. It can contain subroutine and what? Module definition. So whenever we create a function group, SAP will automatically create two include programs. One include program will end with the top, which we call it as top include program. Okay, which we call it as top include program, and we can use this include program for declaring what? Global variables, subroutines and module definitions. Another include program which gets created is, it ends with what? U double X. U double X. One include ends with what? Top. We can use this top include program for declaring global variables, defining subroutines and modules. There is another include which gets created. This is reserved for what? SAP. Reserved for SAP. This is internally used by what? SAP. Internally used by SAP. So as a developer, we are not bothered about this include program. It is for internal SAP's reference. We are bothered about only what? This particular include. I can use it for declaring global variables, subroutines and modules. So first agenda is what now? I want to create my own function group, and let us check whether these two include programs gets created or not. Okay. So before I continue, if you have any questions, please ask me. Done. So if there are no questions, so let us create the what? Function group. So I'll go to object navigator. How do you create? Go to SCAT, Object Navigator. Yeah, in this Object Navigator, what you have to do from the drop down, there are many things here. We should not bother about each and everything. We are concerned about only function group at this stage. So I'll choose function group. Provide the name of the function group. Since it is our own function group, so generally we'll start our custom objects with what? Z or what? Y. So I'll give the function group name as Z645 F group. Any name you can give. I'll give it as what? Z645 F group. I'll press enter. I'll press enter. So if I press enter, if it is already available, it will display. If it is not available, see, since it is not available, it is prompting me to create that. Function group so and so does not exist. Do you want to create the object? Yes. Okay, so choose function group from the drop down, provide the name of the function group, non-existing function group, and press enter. If it is not available, you will get this alert box for creating the object. I'll say yes. Done. Short text. Any short text you give, I'll give it as something 645 function group, right? So who is the user who is creating this function group? Ana user. I logged into what? Ana user. Done. So this is my function group name. Click on what? So you do not worry about this. Is the owner of the object. The login username will be displayed here by default. Then I'll click on save. So as usual, when you click on save, it is asking whether you want to store it in a package or whether you want to store it in a local object. As of now, let me choose what? Local object. So I'll choose local object. Done. So what happened, you see, once a function group is created, two include programs got created. One include is ending with the top, another include is ending with what? U double X. So if I double click on top include program, right hand side will open that. See, if I double click, yeah, you can see right hand side, it has opened this top include program. It's a include program ending with what? Top. We call it as top include program. As of now, it is blank, nothing is there. I can use this include program for declaring my own global variables, defining subroutines and what? Module definitions. Okay, so as of now it is blank. Similarly, if you double click on U double X, it is also blank, but this include program we will not use it explicitly. This is for SAP's internal purpose. This file is generated by the function library. Never change it manually, please. Understood? So as of now, this include is also what? Empty. So what is the purpose of this include means? In a function group, I can create any number of function modules now. So whenever I create a function module, on behalf of each function module, one include gets created. On behalf of every function module, one include gets created here. Okay, so as of now, this is empty because my function group doesn't have any function model. So now I'll create one function model. On behalf of that function model, what happens? One include statement gets created as part of this include program. If I double click on that include program, it takes a control to our function model. So if I create 10 function modules in this function group, you will have 10 include statements inside this particular include program. Each include will point to a function model. We will not use them explicitly. It is for SAP's internal purpose. So I have created the function group automatically. Two include programs got created. Before I start using this function group, let me activate this. Okay, I'll right click on my function group and say what? Activate. I'm right clicking on the function group, say activate, right? Continue. Done, it is activated. Done. So function group is what? Ready. Now I need to create what? Function module. Okay, so blindly will not create the function module. Just like before creating a subroutine, what we will do, we need to analyze your subroutine requirement. We need to analyze whether you have to create the subroutine with parameters or without parameters. If you want to create with parameters, you need to decide what type of parameters you have to pass, whether it's integer, character, pack, date, time, internal tables. We need to decide whether you want to pass it by reference or pass it by value. We need to decide whether the subroutine has to return a value or should not return a value. So we have to do some analysis. Similarly, when you create your own function models also, we need to analyze what function model, what is the purpose of the function model. Do we need to create with parameter or without parameter? If it is with parameter, what is the data type of the parameters? Okay, whether it is passed by value or by reference, whether it is a mandatory parameter or optional parameter, all those things we need to visualize. So as of now, I want to create a function model which doesn't have any parameters. Okay, my function model should just print me some message. Welcome to function models. Understood? So just to understand the environment of function builder tool, I am creating a function model without any parameters, and on calling that function model, it has to display me the message what welcome message. Okay, something like that. So where do we create the function models? Inside the function builder tool. So let me navigate to SC37 function builder tool. Done. It is asking the name of the function model. Since it is custom function model, let me give it as Z645 FM1. Z645 FM1. I'll click on what? Create. I'll click on create. It is asking me the function group name. What is the function group? Just now we created Z645F group. Z645F group. Provide some short text. Some short text I'll give. Test function model. Okay. Any description you can give it here. This is the existing function group and this is the name of the function model. So I'll click on save. It is giving me a warning. What is that warning? Function module name is reserved for what? SAP. Means once you create a function model, it is available throughout the server. It is available throughout the system. Okay. Again, I cannot create one more function model with the same name because it is reserved. Okay, it is global in the SAP system. Okay, whereas if you take subroutines, in program 1 I can create a subroutine sub 1. In program 2 also I can create a subroutine with the name sub 1. Okay, because subroutines are local to what? Programs, but function models are global to the server, global to the system. So it is saying that it is reserved for what? SAP means again you cannot create a function model with the same name. Okay, it's only a warning message. Just click on continue. Done. Okay, right. So now if you go to the attributes, what is the function group we have given while creating Z645 F group? Okay, now if you take our subroutines, we have internal subroutine and external subroutine, right? So when we are defining a subroutine, we have to decide whether it is internal or what? External. If you want to access the same subroutine across many programs, you will create it as what? External subroutine. Similarly here also, while creating the function models, in the attributes tab, we have three radio buttons: regular function model, remote enabled model, and update model. Okay, so if you are working in the older systems, if you are working in 6.0 or less than 6.0, here instead of regular, you will get it as normal function model. But the purpose is what? Same. Okay, so we need to decide what type of function model. Regular means normal function model. What is the concept of normal function model? Normal function model means which can be accessed throughout this particular SAP server, which can be accessed throughout this SAP server. Remote means I can call it from another SAP server also. Understood? Regular means normal function model. It is global to the current server. Means I can call it from anywhere within the same server. Okay, remote means what? I can call it from the same server as well as different server. Just like if you take Java, we have RMI, remote method invocation. Similarly, here also we have RFCs. RFCs means remote function call, which can be called from the same server as well as what? Different server. Then we have one more type of function called the update model. Again, it requires some other discussion. So these two things would be covered as part of cross applications. In cross application, we'll be seeing how to interact with what? Two SAP systems or between SAP and what? Non-SAP systems. So at that time, we'll be discussing these two in cross applications. These two radio buttons will be discussed elaborately practically when we come to cross applications, because we require two servers. Okay, so as of now, by default it is regular, let it be regular only, done. And other things are what? Admin information, who is the person who has created, what is the date, in which package, all those things, done. Now I want to create this function model without any parameters. So forget about this import, export, changing tables and exceptions. I don't want any parameters. Directly I want to define the logic for my function model. How to define a subroutine? Form, end form. Similarly, function models are defined inside function and end function. So if you go to the source code tab, here you can see we have function and what? End function. Within this, you need to implement your business logic. We need to implement your business logic. So what is the logic now? Right. Okay, I'll just give a message, welcome to function models. Some message I'm giving. Okay, you can write any business logic, so I'm giving this one. Done. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Activate this. It is inactive. Let me activate this. Right now, since function models are developed in a separate tool, since they are developed in a separate tool called as function builder tool, we have the provision to test your function models here only without calling it in the program. I can test the function model here itself. If you take subroutine, you must call the subroutine from the program, but whereas here I can directly test my function model. For developer convenience, SAP has given this option, utility. Okay, I can directly test our function model. So I will click on F8. Done. Okay, so I'll click on execute button. That's F8. Done. Okay, it has taken this much time to execute your function model. What is the logic of your function model? We have one write statement now. Already we know write statement will display the output on what? Output screen, list processing screen. So it might have generated the list. How do you check that list? There is a button on the application toolbar, display output list of function model. So if I click on this, yes, it is showing me that particular output list. Welcome to function model. So I'll repeat. I created the function model so and so without any parameters. Directly I defined the function model with some write statement. I have the option to test it here only. So when I click on execute button, F8, again click on execute button, done. Okay, I'll click on what? Display output list of function model. This is the output I got, done. Okay, that's it. So we are able to successfully test my function model. Now what you have to do, we have to call it from the what? Programs. We have to call it from the executable program. So let us see how to call the function model. Before that, all the function models are stored in which table? TFDAR na? So earlier, before creating this function model, how many entries are there in TFDAR table? 5,20,700. So let me go to the table and check whether we have additional entries or not. So I'll go to in SC11, right? In SC11, this is a table TFDR. I'll click on contents, number of entries. How many are there? 5,20,701. Earlier what? 700. Now it has become 701. Okay, can you see that function model name? There is a field here. Table contains what? Columns, fields. What is one of the field? Function name. This field is expecting what? Name of the function model. So let me filter based on that. I'll go to contents, right? What is the name of our function model? Z645 FM1. Okay, execute this. Yes, Z645 FM1. In which function group you have stored? Z645 F group. Z645 F group. Done. So it is stored in this particular table. Now what is my agenda? I want to call this function model from the executable program. So let me create an executable program. Any questions so far? Okay, let me call it now. I'll go to ABAP editor. What is the last program? Z645 program 29. 29 is already there. 30. 30 is also there. 31 I'll choose. Title, I'll just give some title, call function models. What is the type of program? Executable program. Type of program is executable program. I'll save it in the local object. Done. Right. So what is my requirement now? I want to call the function model. So before that, I'll just give some message for your understanding. 1 second, please. Yeah. Just giving some title, function model without parameters. This is only for your understanding. Okay, done. Function model without parameters. So what I'll do here, I want to call that function model. How do you call a subroutine? We use perform keyword. Perform keyword. For calling the function model, we'll say call function. Call function. What is the name of the function model? Z645 FM1. Z645 FM1. In which table it is stored? TFDR. Na? So when it is stored in the table TFDR, it is always stored in uppercase. Means the name of the function model is always captured in uppercase. So when you're calling that, you have to mention it in uppercase. Suppose here wantedly I'll mention in what lowercase. Z645 FM1. I have to give it in single quotes. I have to give it in single quotes, but I gave it in what? Lowercase. Let's see what happens. Save it. Check for the syntax error. Oh, I'm sorry. The last statement is not complete. So I'll give period. Save. Check it. No syntax error. Right. I'll try to execute this. What happened? I got the runtime error. What is the runtime error? Function model Z645 FM1 is not found. It is going to check for this function model in which table? TF DAR. But it is stored in what? Uppercase. That's why it is giving an attempt was made to call the function model so and so. This cannot be found in the library. Understood? So always you have to provide the function model names when you're calling in what? Upper case. 1 second, please. Right. Call function so and so. So this is giving me what? Runtime error as function module name is specified in what? What? Lower case. So this is for your reference. I'm giving that. So I need to provide it in what? Uppercase. So I'll say call function. What is the function model name? Z645 FM1. Okay, so you have to give it in uppercase. So when I save it, check no syntax error, done. When I execute, yes. Okay, so from my program, I got the statement function model without parameters and I got welcome to function models. Let me try to debug. I'll put the breakpoint. When I execute, it is going to the debugging session. I will navigate to the old debugger, switch to classic debugger, done. So I'll say F5. We are still in the program only. Z645 program 31. I got the message up to this. Then I'm trying to call the function model. Whenever we call the function, control jumps to the definition. So when I say F5, yes, control is going to my what? Function model Z645 FM1. It is about to execute that. So I'll say F5. It has executed. It has returned that. It is coming out of the function model, coming back to the program. I'll say F8. I got the result. Understood? So we are able to call the function model. Now let me go to function group and check. What is the function group for this? Z645F group, right? So let me navigate to that. So I'll go to SC80. Earlier we have two includes, right? So I'll go to SC80. What is the function group? Z645F group. Now you can see we have function models, and as usual we have what? Two includes. So if I open this function models, what is one of the function model? Z645FM1. If I double click on this, it will open that in the right hand side. Okay, I can click on this button. What? Full list on or off, full screen on or off, like this. Okay, and if you see the top include program, it is still blank. If you see UXX, you can see one include got generated. This include is referring to which function model? Z645FM1. If I double click on this, it takes a control to that particular function model. So if I create one more function model, one more include gets created. Anyhow, we are not going to use it, but each include will be a reference to a function model. Done. So we are able to create the function model. We are able to call the function model. So I can call like this, or you can see once again, see whenever you are calling the function model, you can make use of the pattern. You can make use of the pattern. So I'll go to what pattern? Understand? I'll go to pattern, right? Call function. What is the name of the function model? Z645FM1. So what is the advantage of using the pattern? The signature is automatically generated. So I'll click on what? Continue. Done. I got the same thing. So I can make use of what? Pattern. This can be in lowercase or uppercase. Already we know above statements are not case sensitive. I can give it in lowercase or uppercase. Doesn't matter, but the name of the function model should be in what? Uppercase. So when I execute, twice I got the message welcome to function models. Now let us quickly create one more function model. I want to create one more function model which has to perform sum of two numbers, which has to perform sum of what? Two numbers. So to perform the sum of two numbers, I want to pass those two integers as parameters. Then I'll use one variable to store the calculation and display the result. Okay, so where do we create the function model? SE37. So I'll go to SE37. Let me give the name of the function model as Z645 FM2. Create. What is the function group? I will use the same function group Z645 F group. Okay, or you can browse here. Click on this and browse. Provide the short text. I'll just give some message. Function model with import parameters. Okay, I want to pass the parameters. Okay, so I'll choose what? Save. It is reserved for SAP. Done. Yeah. Okay, so this is my function group, and what is the type of function model by default? Regular function model. I'll go to what? Import. Right. So in the import section, I need to give the parameter name. So how do you pass parameters to subroutines? If you want to pass integers as parameters, what is the keyword we use? Using keyword. Na? We use using keyword. For passing standard data types as parameters, we use using keyword. So here also, I'll give the parameter name. Let me give the parameter name as, you can give any name. So in the import section, why I'm giving the import, what are the parameters you want to pass to the function model, that you have to specify under what? Import section. So I'll give the parameter name as, you can give any name, but generally you'll start the parameter name with what? I underscore. So I'll say I underscore X. Import parameter, you'll start with what? I underscore. Then here you choose browse and choose type. Type is a type ref2 is there. Type ref2 we'll discuss when you go to object oriented. So I'll choose type. Done. Associated type. What is the data type? Integer. I underscore X type I. Okay, and you can see here there is a checkbox here optional. If you don't select this, it is mandatory parameter. If you select this, it becomes what? Optional parameter. Anyhow, we'll see that by default it is mandatory, and whether you want to pass it by reference or value. If I don't select this checkbox, it is nothing but what? Passed by reference. In subroutines also we have seen parameters by default are passed by what? Reference. Here also by default they are passed by reference. If you want to give any short text, you can give, otherwise leave it. Then I underscore Y. What is this? Type what? I. So I'm passing two integer parameters. That's all in the import section. Then in the source code, right? So you can see they are passed by what? Reference. By default, parameters are passed by reference. If you want to pass it by value, we'll select the checkbox. How do you pass by value in case of subroutine? We have to use a value keyword. Already we have discussed. If I don't use value keyword there, it is passed by reference. So here also by default pass by reference. Then I require one variable for storing the result. So data. So I am declaring this variable within the block. So it becomes what? Local variable. Generally, you'll start the local variable with what? LV. Just to indicate that the local variable will start with LV. You can give any name. I can give V, GV, whatever it is, but just to indicate that is a local variable, I'll give it as LV underscore Z type I. Then I'll say LV underscore Z is equal to what? I underscore X plus I underscore Y. Then I'll say write sum is what? LV underscore Z. Sum is LV underscore Z. Done. Okay, so I declared one local variable. By using that import parameters, I am doing the calculation, stored that result in the variable v underscore z. I am displaying that. Let me save it, check for the syntax error, activate this. Done. I have activated. Let me try to execute this. When I execute, I can test it here only. Na? So when I execute, done. It is asking the values for this, and I'll give something 20 and 30 or 20 and something. Then click on execute button. Yes, okay. So if you see the display output list of the function model, I got the result as what? Sum is what? 50. So we are able to test our function model here. Now I need to call this function model from our executable program. So from the same program, let me try to call uline. I'll just give a message. Function module with parameters. Okay, so I need to call this function module now. Which function module? Z645fm2. So before calling any function module, we have to check the signature of the function module, whether it is having any parameters or not. If it is having parameters, what are the data type of the parameters? We need to check whether they are obligatory or optional. We need to check whether they are passed by value or reference, all those information. We have to check whether it contains any default values. Okay, so if you see the signature of this function model, there are two import parameters. What type? Integer. And both the parameters are obligatory. Na? Check optional checkbox is not selected, means they are what? Obligatory. So while calling the function model, I must export two variables of what type? Integers. So that they are imported in what? I underscore x and what? I underscore y. Understood? So while defining, I gave it as import. While calling, they become what? Export. So what type of values you have to export? Integers only. Na? So since I have to pass integers, let me read it from the user. So I'll say what? Parameters. Parameters, I'll say p underscore x type I. Then I'll take another parameter p underscore y type I. Okay, so I'm taking what? Two integer variables. Now let me try to call. So I need to call function so on so on. Instead of writing here, I can use what? Pattern. So I'll go to pattern. Why I'm reading two parameters of type integer? Because my function model is expecting two mandatory parameters of type what? Integer. Import means while calling becomes export. So I'll go to pattern. What is the function model? Z645 FM2. Continue. Then you can see call function import becomes what? Export. I underscore x is equal to p underscore x and I underscore y is equal to p underscore y. So you can see period is here. So from year to year, it is considered only one statement. Actually, it is something like this. Call function, import becomes export, and then I underscore x is equal to p underscore x, I underscore y is equal to p underscore y. I should write it like this, but to increase the readability, we have to put it like this so that it is easy for reading. I underscore x is equal to p underscore x and I underscore y is equal to something p underscore y. So how do we read it now? We are calling the function model so and so. by exporting. We are calling the function model by exporting what? P underscore x and what? P underscore y, which gets imported in what? I underscore x and I underscore y. Okay, so when I do syntax check, no errors. When I execute, I'll pass some values 55 and 11. Execute this. What is that? I got sum is what? 66. If I debug this, let me put the breakpoint here. Okay, I am reading two values, 88 and 11. So it will enter into the debugging mode. I'll just go to navigate to switch to classic debugger. Done. So I read two values from the user now. Where those values are stored? P underscore x and P underscore what? Y. P underscore x and P underscore. Now we are calling the function module by exporting what? P underscore x and P underscore y, which gets imported in what? I underscore x and I underscore y. So when I call the function model, control jumps to the definition. Now. When I say fi, yes, control is jumping to the definition. So since the control has shifted to function models, these variables are not recognized, but they are imported in what? I underscore x and I underscore y. So if you see, I underscore x is 88, I underscore y is 11, and LV underscore z by default is what? 0. Integers by default is 0. I'll say fi LV underscore z equal to 99. I'm printing that. Sum is what? 99. Control is coming out of the function model. I'll say fi. Yes, it is coming out. It has came out of the function model. Control has came back to your calling program. That's all. I'll say fi. I got the result. Okay. Suppose these two parameters are what? Mandatory. By default, they are mandatory. So I'll not pass this. I'll comment this. Understood? I am reading two values, but when I'm calling the function model, I am not supplying the value for one of the mandatory parameters. So when I execute, I am reading, but I'm not passing. So when I execute, yes, I got the runtime error. What is that? Call function parameter missing. Missing parameter in call function. When calling a function model, one of the parameters was not specified. Error in the program. The current program had to be terminated because it found a statement that could not be executed. Okay, scroll down and check. See the error analysis. When calling the function model FM2, one of the parameters required according to the interface description was not specified. This is parameter what? I underscore x. So it's saying that you are not supplying the value for what? I underscore x. That's why it has given the runtime error because it is what? Mandatory. If you would have selected, sorry, if you would have selected it as optional, yes, it will work. Just suppose if I go back to my function model, here I'll make this first parameter as what? Optional. Since I made the changes, I'll click on what? Activate again. Then, so one of the parameter is what? Optional. So when I try to call it now, see the pattern now. I'll remove this. I'll use the pattern now. Control F6. Okay, what is the function model Z645 FM2? You can see I underscore X is commented here because I underscore X is created as what? Optional. You may or may not pass the value. Okay, I'll pass the value only for what? P and I underscore Y. So let's see now. When I execute, I'm reading the value, but I'm not passing. Earlier, I got the runtime error. Now I got what? 11 because it is taking the default value for integer. What is the default value? 0. If you want, you can pass. I underscore x is equal to P underscore x. So optional parameters means you may or may not pass at the time of what? Calling the function model. At the time of calling, import becomes export. 55 and 11. I got what? 66. So this is some information related to what? Function model. We understood where the function models are stored. So if you go back to function group now, if you go to SCAT, we have two function models. If I go to that top include, still it is empty. Nothing is there in this. If I double click on UXX, how many includes are there now? Two includes. These includes got created on behalf of this function model. So we are not bothered about this include. It is for SAP's internal reference. Right. So tomorrow we'll finish up the rest of the part. We will see how to return the values, export, changing tables, exception. So once we understand this environment, we can start working with what standard function models given by what SAP. Any questions for today? Please ask me. Done then. So I'll wind off. We'll continue tomorrow. Practice this. Okay.